It's been 2 years with this little camera, and I've used it for client work, YouTube videos, and personal shooting. Some things have surprised me, some things have frustrated me. There's something about this camera that makes it one of my favorites to grab. And of course, I'm talking about the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I picked this camera up when it first came out with the intention of using it to record these videos. Let's first start with why I still like using this camera. It's going to be portability that doesn't kill quality. This camera is very small, and that means that I actually shoot more. Where I found myself being surprised by this camera was outside of using it for these types of videos, I would bring it along with my shoots with clients where I do a sit-down interview. If I'm doing photography for them, I have lights set up. What usually happens with these mini documentaries that I'm doing is someone will say to me, oh, here, let me take you on a tour of the building. Let me show you this. I don't have time to move the lights and set it up, or even to put a camera like the Blackmagic Cinema camera on a gimbal. Even if I had a smaller camera like the Lumix to put on a gimbal, it still takes time to get that set up, get it balanced. With this, I just take it out, walk with it, and it's saved my hide. It's actually added a lot of supplemental footage to my projects because of its portability and for the ease of just taking it around. Another thing that makes this camera so great is it's a gimbal. I mean, it's already balanced. You take it out, you walk with it. I've found the motion to be smoother than your phone, even using the Blackmagic camera app that has a built-in stabilization that does a pretty good job. It just walks easy. You don't have to worry about getting shaky footage. That's huge, especially for the purpose of this camera being a run-and-gun camera. The idea that I can flip the screen and create a vertical video is huge. I worked with a client recently where 80% of the footage that she requested was vertical. Her main platforms are Instagram and TikTok. But as far as the footage that she was going to post, it had to be vertical. And you might say, well, look, it's no problem to just crop in on a wide image. You're right, it's not. But having that framing set up and having that deliverable to be ready to go is key. Next is going to be the versatility of this camera. What do I mean by that? Whether you are brand new to this, whether you're a novice, whether you're a seasoned professional, this camera has something for you. There are auto settings with exposure. There's an auto setting with color. So you don't have to color grade. You don't have to worry about all the different things that go into a camera setting, like ISO and shutter speed. But if you are, you can override the auto settings and have manual controls. Now, the only thing you can't change is the f-stop. It's a preset f-stop, but you have control over your ISO, you have control over your shutter speed, and you have the option to shoot in D-Log-M, which gives you more flexibility. It's 10-bit versus 8, so you have more flexibility to apply a grade to it. What I like about this is the conversion LUT that DJI gives you is pretty much plug and play, ready to go. I've used conversion LUTs for the Blackmagic cameras, the Lumix cameras. They do a pretty good job. I'm never really satisfied with the final image that they give. I feel like it still needs some tweaking. Whereas with this camera, that conversion LUT is pretty much the look that I'm looking for. I want something that is going to look like the normal color profile, but is going to give me more detail. Now, I mentioned the portability of being able to take it around, and that ties in with being able to capture moments that I normally wouldn't be able to capture with a larger camera. At the heart of things, we are storytellers. As much as I love to get great composition and try to get the lighting as good, sometimes you just need to grab the story, and to be able to take this thing out and follow somebody around. It also makes people not feel as nervous when you're having a conversation with them. I've been in situations with clients where the lights are up, they're sitting on a chair, and they lock up. They don't want to talk because they feel like they're on camera. This thing is so tiny, I can set it on a table and have a conversation with them, and that provides for a better story experience. So now let's talk about where this camera struggles. And when I say where it struggles, any camera that you use, it's going to have its pros and its cons, its strengths and its weaknesses. The first is going to be the wide focal length. I believe this is the equivalent of an 18 or 20 millimeter lens. So yes, you can zoom in. Let me see if we can. So yes, I can zoom in, but I'm going to lose a little bit of quality as I do that. The advantage is on other cameras, you can apply a 50 millimeter lens, an 85 millimeter lens, and get better background separation. Knowing that it's going to be fixed is helping me, especially when you're walking and you want that wider range of motion. The other thing, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this, maybe it's me, maybe I'm missing something. With DJI in particular, there's something about overcast days that these cameras are not fond of. Whether it's this Pocket 3, the GoPros, the drones, there's something about that overcast look that just doesn't shine, no pun intended, as much as a bright day, or even if it's just, partly cloudy. It's also important to understand the exposure with this camera, because in a situation that's really bright, if you're in an auto setting, your shutter speed is going to be jacked up and you're going to get really choppy footage. The other thing with this is low light. Now, right now, I'm pretty much using natural light. I have a window in front of me, a window to the side, and I have a light bouncing off of a whiteboard over here. When it's too dark, you're going to lose some resolution. You're going to introduce a little bit of noise. Now, it does have a nighttime setting, which does a pretty good job. Okay, these are some minor things that, in my experience, I've found to be somewhat problematic, whether it's with me or with other people who are using this camera. And number one is going to be the focus hunting when you're on a tripod. So right now this camera's locked down and I have my focus on continuous. So like if I stuck my hand up, it would focus on my hand. I've seen shots with this camera where if it's locked down on a tripod and it's recording somebody talking, it can sometimes shift focus. Like it does that focus breathing thing. This is something that I struggled with in the beginning with this camera, and that is the gimbal speed modes. So you have slow, normal, and fast. And that all has to do with how quickly the gimbal head moves. In the situations where I'm following someone around the way, it was important for me to remember to stay on the person, because if they were talking and then they were pointing at something, I would be there and then there. And it can be, even though it's on a gimbal, it gets to be a little dizzying sometimes. Knowing the gimbal speed and also using a tracking mode. If you're following somebody, you can activate active tracking, so that way as you move, it's following the person. Because that's also happened where I might be following someone walking and we miss a turn and all of a sudden I have to go back and recenter them. The combination of the gimbal speeds and the active tracking is something that's going to benefit you with this camera. There are some key accessories that you should consider that are going to make or break your footage with this camera. Number one is going to be audio. So when I first purchased this, I got the Creator Combo, which comes with the DJI Mic 2, Bluetooth, wireless microphone. You turn it on, it connects to your camera. So with these microphones, there's a little trick that people may or may not know, and that is you can plug in a professional lavalier microphone into the device. So right here, then I have this Sennheiser plugged into this device, clipped onto here. This is the audio that you're hearing. This mic on its own is very good, and it certainly does a great job. What I like about this microphone is, aside from being able to clip it onto somebody, you have the option to use this magnet. So if you want it on their shirt, if they're wearing a jacket. What's really great about this microphone is how amazing this dead cat is. Sorry for being old school there, but this windbreaker really does an amazing job of cutting out the wind.
I specifically was honed in on working on the lettering up above. I specifically was honed in on working on the lettering up above.
The next accessory that I think is crucial to having this camera perform well for you is going to be ND filters. There are videos out there that maybe somebody wanted to go viral saying you don't need them. And you're right, you don't need them. It's not oxygen. But it's going to make a huge difference in the quality of your video. I get it. Some people don't want to have to take the ND filter off, especially if it's a fixed ND. It's tiny. You're going to get fingerprints on it. You might be going inside to outside. So it's fine. I get it. But keep in mind, even if you're in auto mode and it is adjusting the ISO for you, it is compensating for that light variation. It's going to really ramp up your shutter speed and create some choppy footage. If that doesn't bother you, fine. But it certainly does a great job of bringing out detail in the sky and just having a better overall balanced image. I've used CPL filters on here before to bring out some detail in the sky, to cut back on the glare of computers, screens, and other reflections. I'm more of a fan of the ND than I am of the CPL. Get a set that has a CPL in it. It's a really cool thing to work with, and why not learn something new if you don't already use one, right? And we haven't even touched on some of the other features that this camera has, like time-lapse, motion-lapse, hyperlapse, the ability to record 60 frames per second in 4K, the ability to do 120 and 240 frames per second in HD, the ability to live stream with it. It does raw photos. I've been in a few situations where I needed to use it to take a raw photo. It's not why I got it, but if it's an added feature, I'm all for it. This camera really is for anybody. I mentioned the versatility of, if you're a seasoned professional, it has something for everybody. If you're someone who wants something accessible, if an idea pops into your head and you just want to start recording, this is the way to do it. Because with most other cameras, you are going to need to set it up on a tripod and put lights on. And yes, you do need to set your exposure either way, but it's just so much easier with this camera. It really is plug and play that delivers a really good image. So if you've been using this camera, what are your thoughts on it? What do you use it for? Did I miss any of the strengths or weaknesses? Let me know in the comments. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself, everybody.